Hare Krishna. Good morning, my dear Prabhus, dear Matajis. Thank you for joining our morning Japa session and welcome to our Srimad Bhagavatam study, the Monk in the Middle podcast. So happy Saturday. And first, hello muna, Tina Mataji, Levi, um, this is Naomi, Mother Moksha, Veronica Mataji, Rolly Prabhu, McCoy Prabhu, back to Oliver Prabhu, back to Paolo, back to Gail, back to Jonah, back to Milka, and back to Riza. You know the drill, everyone. We should be in the right mood, in the mood of request, in the mood of humility as we approach the Srimad Bhagavatam study. So join me as we recite the invocation mantras. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat nashta prayashu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate utamas loke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. I offer my obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest. One should offer respectful obeisances unto the Personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Sarasvati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So we had a nice discussion yesterday, a nice story even, how the Pandavas prepared for their retirement. Timely. Hindi sila nagantay na doon sila abutan ng old age in their position. They actually prepared for it kasi one should always be prepared sa death. And one greatest preparation is for us to detach ourselves dun sa mga positions, dun sa mga responsibilities and duties, lalong-lalo na kapag may mga right rulers na on the next position, may next in line na. Of course, the Pandavas prepared King Pariksit for that position. He is actually the savior. He was actually the one who was saved by Krishna in the womb of her mother. So, very pious and righteous siya to be the next emperor. He was also trained as the next leader. So, ito yung mga qualities niya. And when the Pandavas have heard that Krishna and the Yadu dynasty already departed, and they know that si King Pariksit, siyempre, the Pariksit, their grandson, is ready para maging next king. Nag-usap-usap na yung mga Pandavas. And Yudhisthira got the approval ng mga kapatid niyan. Yes, pwede natin i-throne si Pariksit para maging Maharaj. So, when this happened, si Yudhisthira, kinausap yung brothers niya, yung mga Pandavas, pero nag-agree yung Pandavas. So, sabi ni Yudhisthira Maharaj, let's leave for the forest. This Kali Yuga is coming. Because ayun nga, start ng Kali Yuga yung pag-ascend ni Krishna, pag-alis ni Krishna sa material world. So, sabi nila, let's prepare. So what they did, they distributed the wealth to the Brahmins, sa mga saintly persons. They perform yung mga rituals in honor kay Krishna. So yung mga sacrifices and all. Even give, they gave heaps of gold and gems. Ganon kadami, ganon ka-opulent. They're giving it away. This is just like rain. Yung rain made out of water siya. Mostly evaporated water galing sa sea, galing sa earth. Same thing. Hindi talaga kino-consider ng mga leaders na sila may-ari ng mga budget. It is just like tax. And they're willing to give this as charity and not under their name. Because that's like tax ng mga tao. So same thing yon. Ito yung ginagawa ng mga great leaders. So what they did, they prepared um, going to the forest. They leave all their ornaments and wore very simple cloth. Yung mga pang-renounce na wardrobe. So just very simple robes and sticks. And then they went to the forest. But si Draupadi, yung asawa nila, asawa ng five Pandavas, of course, could not live without them. Si Draupadi bid farewell dun sa mga other royal ladies in the kingdom. She even also renounced everything. Sumama pa rin siya sa Pandavas. So they accepted simple food, water, only once a day. Then the brothers, Draupadi, naglakad sila towards Himalayas, towards the north. So what they did is actually ang dami lang na meet along the way because yung mga demigods are actually watching them, glorifying their deeds. One of the si Agni, fire, spoke to them and sabi niya kay Yudhishthir Maharaj, you could ask Arjuna to bring back yung Gandiva bow na binigay ko sa kanya. Si Arjuna have a vow before kung sino yung magsasabi sa kanya na i-give up yung Gandiva bow niya, ibaba. Or just bitawan lang. Kailangan niya patayin. And even ginawa niya kay Yudhishthir yun. Pero this time, even Arjuna, even sa Gandiva bow niya, he is renounced. So, easily binitawan niya, binigay niya ulit sa waters para kunin ni Varuna. Tapos, mabalik kay sa rightful or owner, which is si Agni. So, they went walking for months and months and sobrang emancipated na rin yung emaciated and weakened na yung body nila. Very weary na. They climbed with great difficulty. Suddenly, habang umakyat silang anim, si Draupadi nalaglag dun sa ground habang umakyat sila. Then, she died. Si Bhima, yung pangalawang kabatid ni Yudhishthir, saw this. And he asked his elder brother, si Yudhishthir, O crusher of the enemy, what is the reason bakit si Draupadi have to die this way? Without even looking back, si Yudhishthir sinabi niya, although Draupadi was married to the five of us, sabi niya, he is partial to Arjuna. So parang ang favorite ni Draupadi si Arjuna. Supposedly dapat equal sila. So even this great personality, meron sila mga faults. And they climbed farther. Dun sa 5, si Sahadev, sa kasi nakula yung kambal, si Arjuna, si Bhima, si Yudhishthir. Si Sahadev first fell to the ground and died dun sa mga Pandavas. Then again, si Bhima asked si Yudhishthir, anong reason bakit si Sahadev fell to the ground and died? Dire-diretso pa rin yung lakad ni Yudhishthir. Sabi niya, although Sahadev is gifted with knowledge, he considered himself without comparison in wisdom. For this, he has fallen. Thinking na si Sahadeva, wala daw siyang comparison in wisdom. That small amount of pride, ayun yung naging reason bakit nag-fall down and namatay si Sahadeva. Next, yung kapatid niyang kambal na si Nakula. So he was overpowered by sorrow na si Draupadi, tapos yung kambal niya namatay na. Si Nakula next fell to the ground and died. Again, si Bhima tinanong si Yudhishthir, what is the reason? Bakit kailangan mamatay na si Nakula? Hindi pa rin tumitingin si Yudhishthir, dire-diretso pa rin siya. Sabi niya, he's the most intelligent. However, he felt matchless in bodily beauty. And thus he was fallen. He has fallen. So sobrang guwapo kasi nung kambal. And even matalino si Nakula, may tinge of pride siya na wala siyang kapareho sa ganda ng pagkalalaki niya. Sa pagkagwapo niya. Because of that, he has fallen. So yung dalawang kambal and si Draupadi already left. Tapos dire-diretso pa rin mag-ascend sa great mountains yung natitira sila Yudhishthir. Next, grief-stricken si Arjuna because of the death ni Draupadi sa kanong younger brothers nila. Arjuna fell to the ground and died. Bhima asked Yudhishthir, what is the reason why Arjuna died? And sabi ni Yudhishthir, dire-diretso pa rin siya maglakad. Just before the war, si Arjuna nag-promise that he will kill all the Kauravas in just a single day. Isang araw lang daw, nag-promise siya. Pero as we know, nag-last yung Battle of Kurukshetra 18 days. Because of him failing to keep this promise, out of pride, sinabi niya yun kasi he is angry and proud kasi magaling si Arjuna. Because of that, he has to be obliged to fall to the earth. Then as they continue, natitira na lang sa nagalang ka-travel si Yudhishthir, si Bhima, saka yung sumama sa kanilang dog from that start ng climb nila. So, tapos si Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva, si Draupadi, nag-pass away na. Dalawa na lang sila, plus yung dog. Then, habang tuloy-tuloy sila nagka-travel, si Bhima fell down. Bago siya mamatay, he asked Yudhishthir, bakit siya kailangan mag-fall and ba't kailangan siya mamatay? Sabi ni Yudhishthir, Vrikudar. Vrikudar is another name. Another name ni Bhima. Si Bhima daw kasi sobrang takaw. You are a great eater. And you did not considered others because of your voracious eating. Hindi mo na consider yung mga kasama sa paligid mo. Thus, you have fallen. So, yun yung fault ni Bhima. The pride and yung pagiging voracious eater niya. So, si Yudhishthir, together with the dog, climbed to the top of that mountain. And from there, may nag-descend na Vimana. May nag-descend na chariot, which is owned by Indra. Sabi ni Indra, oh, you son of Bharat, I will take you to heaven. Please climb this chariot. Sabi ni Yudhishthir, I have no desire to go to the heavens. Tas iiwan ako yung mga brothers ko na nandito. Plus, yung dog na kasama ko ngayon, he had taken shelter of me. And I have vowed na lahat ng mag-take shelter sa akin, I cannot abandon them. Only if alaw mo yung aso na to sumama sa akin, sa'yo, doon ako papayag. Of course, hindi pwede yon. Sabi ni Indra, hindi siya kasama. He has to stay here. So sabi ni Yudi, sir, okay, sige, hindi na lang ako kasama din. What happened was, that dog na sumama sa kanila along the way ng travel nila, turned into a form where kinagulat ni Yudhisthira. This dog na sumama sa kanila is actually Dharmaraj or Yamaraj, the god of just, and also siya yung superintendent sa sa lower and higher planetary system. Kumbaga pag namatay ka, kailangan mo siya ma-meet. Doon mo nalalaman kung ano yung karma mo. Punta ka ba sa heaven, sa hell, ano yung mga next na karma mo, anong sufferings na kailangan mo gawin, anong rewards. Si Yamaraj yun. Tatay ni Yudhisthira yun. So, nagulat si Yudhisthira and he fell down to the ground, not to die, but to pay obeisances in respect. Nagbow down siya. So because of this, nagsabi si Dharmaraj, sabi, O kings of kings, you are none on earth who can display such virtue. Even in the realm of death, in your renounced order, you are still taking care of those subordinates sa'yo. What a great leader, di ba? He's not attached to the position, he even renounced it. Pero yung leadership niya wala sa position. Nasa character talaga niya. He examined, actually tinest na ni Dharmaraj si Yudhisthira ng ilang beses. If you remember, yung class natin before sa meditation yoga philosophy, there was a conversation between a yaksha and si Yudhisthira Maharaj. And that yaksha is Dharmaraj. Ang tinanong ni Dharmaraj sa kanya, ni Yamaraj, what is the greatest thing on earth? Sabi ni Yudhisthira, the most amazing thing is people are always witnessing other living entities dying. And they don't think it will happen to them. So if you remember that conversation, that was a test also ni Yamaraj sa kanya. Tas ito, tinest siya uli. Sabi ni Yamaraj kay Yudhisthira, again today, I have found you to be the greatest exponent of morality and virtue. There is no one in heaven who equals you. Even in heaven, in that kind of virtue, walang makakapantaya sa'yo. Then, Yamaraj instructed, you come with Indra. So, sumakay na si Yudhisthira dun sa chariot ni Indra. And they went to the heavenly planets. Going there, ang nagsumama na sa kanya ay si Narada Muni. Nakita niya si Narada Muni doon, nagka-float in space. And what happened was, habang nakikita ni Yudhisthira, tapos nandun si Indra, nakita niya si Narada Muni, tapos nakita niya rin sila Duryodhan. Oh, teka lang, si Duryodhan yung kalaban nila sa war, very sin personified. Pero nasa heavenly planet sila. Yung mga naging kings na natalo nila sa war, andun din. Nagkataka siya. Pero hindi siya interested. Hindi siya interested kung ano yung mga ina-enjoy nila Duryodhan in heavenly planets. He's very detached. Because in the heavenly planets, grabe yung opulence doon. Sobrang detached niya. He's just looking for his brothers. Hinahanap niya. Sabi niya doon sa nag-tour sa kanya sa heavenly planets. Sabi niya kay Narada, these kings has reached heaven. Sabi pala ni Narada Muni, these kings has reached heaven because of their virtue sa Kshatriya practice. Ginawa nila yung duty nila as Kshatriya. They had died in the war, kaya sila kailangan dumaan sa heavenly planets. Again, that is not the eternal destination. Dadaan lang naman yung mga tao in heaven saka in hell. So because of their good deeds, kailangan nila mag-spend ng time doon sa heaven. Pero hindi interested si Yudhisthira doon. He is asking, where has my brothers gone? Saan sila napunta? I am not interested to stay in heaven kung wala sila. So yung celestial na chariot, umalis na dun sa heaven. Biglang dumilim. Tapos meron sila mga naririnig na mga voices. Tapos may mga, seemingly, may mga nag-suffer. In that darkness, may mga sumisigaw na in pain. Then the smell have a fetid smell, like wasteland ng mga corpses. Ganun yung amoy dun sa lugar na yon. Tapos may nakikita siya mga blazing fire. Na si Yudhisthira bigla may mga nakita na crows saka mga vultures. Pero kakaiba tong mga to, yung mga beaks ng mga vultures na yon made out of iron. Tapos kumakain sila ng mga flesh, human flesh. Tapos may nakita siya mga evil spirits doon, yung mga mouths nila, sobrang grabe yung mga ngipin, para mga needles. Sobrang sharp. Then may mga boiling waters. Hindi lang siya reservoir of water na kumukulo. Nakita siya ng mga rivers doon made out of boiling water. Sobrang init. Tapos nakakarinig siya uli ng mga tao screaming na nandun sa water na yon. Tapos may nakita siyang river made out of feces, made out of urine, mga mucus. Tapos may mga tao nag-suffer din doon. And in that way, nagulat si Yudhisthira Maharaj. Saan mo ako dinala? Sabi niya kay Narada Muni. Saan mo ako dinala? Ayoko magstay dito kasi wala naman yung mga kapatid ko. Habang paalis sila, may sumisigaw. And merong mga, may mga nag-seek ng shelter kay Yudhisthira Maharaj. Sabi, "O King, do not leave us. Only by your presence, nawawala yung suffering namin. Even nandito kami sa abominable place na to. It is like cool breeze na pumupunta sa mind namin in this very hot condition. In this very abominable condition." And habang iniisip ni Yudhisthira Maharaj, sino itong mga na to, na-realize niya, andun si Bhima, si Arjuna, Nakula, si Sahadev, yung mga kapatid niya. Tapos biglang nakita niya si Draupadi. Sabi ni Yudhisthira Maharaj, nagtataka siya bakit andun yung mga kapatid niya. Pero he said, dun sa sumama sa kanya, papunta doon, "You go back to where you came from. My brothers are here. And Draupadi is here. I have to stay." Sobrang ride or die ni Yudhisthira Maharaj. Kung saan yung mga sinuservan niya, which is yung mga younger brothers niya. Hindi niya even question. Tapos nung sinabi niya yon, biglang lumiwanag. It is actually like a presentation sa kanya. And then explain sa kanya ni Indra. Habang lumiliwanag na yon, dumating si Indra. Tapos in-explain ni Indra sa kanya. Sabi niya, everyone should see the hellish planets. Wala makakatakas doon. Kailangan makita. The question is, gaano katagal mag-stay? But they have to see this very quickly lang. Kasi very pious naman sila. Then si Yudhisthira Maharaj tanong, kung wala sila rito, asan sila? Then si Indra, dinala na talaga si Yudhisthira sa destination kung saan yung heavenly planets na nandun sa Bhima sa yung mga kapatid niya. Then he saw na si Krishna in Vishnu form, four-handed form, was sitting in the throne kung nasaan sila Lord Indra and giving them blessing. Si Yudhisthira Maharaj was seeing Krishna actually and very pleased. He felt really joyed gazing at Krishna. Sobrang blissful niya. Sabi niya, surely nothing in heaven could compare this feeling, seeing you, Krishna. And by that, sabi niya, wala nang gusto siyang gawin and kunin. And he doesn't care about the future, the present, and the past. It did not matter. As long as I'm with you, Krishna, I'm ready to go anywhere. Si Yudhishthir Maharaj, the Pandavas are very attached kay Krishna. And even anong mangyari sa kanila, sasama sila kay Krishna. So they are doing this eternal pastime. This Bhagavad Gita, the warrior battle Kurukshetra. In other universes, nangyayari yun ngayon. Yung pinag-usapan natin, in other universes, nangyayari yun at the same time. It is an eternal pastime, Nitya Lila. Nitya is eternal, pastime is Lila. So, eternal pastime. Si Krishna lagi niya kasama, yung Pandavas. Because they are great devotees, they don't want to be separated kay Krishna. Si Krishna ayaw rin ma-separate sa kanila. So, ganun ka ride or die si Yudhishthir. Saka yung Pandavas. Dali mo kami sa hell, dali mo sa kami sa heaven, wala kami pakialam. Gusto namin kasama namin si Krishna. Ayun yung goal ng devotees. The aspiring devotees doesn't want and doesn't care sa heavenly planets because that's matter. That's still material world. Kasama siya sa material world. What to do there? Sabi nga ni Yudhishthir Maharaj. Hindi siya interesado kung ano yung ini-enjoy ni Duryodhana doon. Gusto niya devotional service. Serve pa rin siya kay Krishna sa mga devotees. In loving and in devotion na mood. They're beyond this material realm. They don't care about the light, the heavens, the hell. Kahit saan mo kami dalhin, basta mag-serve kami kay Krishna. Mag-serve kami sa devotees. Kaya na si Yudhishthir Maharaj. So let's continue reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto creation. We are at chapter 16, the start of chapter 16. How Pariksit received the age of Kali. So, nung in-enthrone na ni Yudhishthir Maharaj and the brothers, Pandavas, si Yudhishthir yung apo nila to be the king. And we know that is the start ng Kali Yuga. It was being discussed in this chapter. It is being discussed in this chapter yung pag-receive ni Pariksit Maharaj sa age of Kali. Text number 1. O Suta Goswami said, O learned Brahmanas, Maharaj Pariksit then began to rule over the world as a great devotee of the Lord under the instructions of the best of the twice-born Brahmanas. He ruled by those great qualities which were foretold by expert astrologers at the time of his birth. So, nung pinanganak si Pariksit Maharaj, maraming ceremony. Nangyari naman yun even kay Krishna. May mga ceremony. And may mga astrologers doon. They will predict kung ano mangyayari sa'yo. And they're great astrologers. Alam nila. Even at time of death. It was written in their scriptures and in the stars. They could read the birth charts. So, ganun ka-powerful yung mga astrologers. What we have now, hindi lahat legit na mga astrologers. May mga natitira na mga astrologers. They could see kung ano yung mangyayari. Kung alam din nila na makikure si Pariksit Maharaj and mamamatay si Pariksit Maharaj sa isang bite ng isang bird snake. Sri Prabhupada mentioned here, at the time of Maharaj Pariksit's birth, the expert astrologers, the Brahmanas, foretold some of his qualities. So yung mga astrologer na yon, hindi sila yung mga normal astrologer lang. Mga saintly person din sila. That's why they're very qualified to have that power and gift to see the future. So anong nangyari? Na-develop pa rin ni Pariksit Maharaj yung mga qualities na nakita sa kanya. Same. Dinevelop niya. He was trained to be like that. And it happened. So, Maharaj Pariksit is a first-class Bhagavat or Mahabhagavat, first-class devotee. So there is three classes of devotee: the Uttama Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Kanista Adhikari. Kanista Adhikari is the neophyte. They only see Krishna sa deity form. Hindi na nakita si Krishna everywhere. Their faith is not firm. Pwede silang marock. Onting, malito lang sila, may mabasa lang silang onte. May magkaroon lang sila ng doubt and question. Hindi na alam. And pwede silang huminto sa practice. They could not convince everyone. They could not even convince themselves. They're very new fight stage. They're sometimes, because of their um, pagiging neophyte, pagiging beginner, meron silang mga faults na nagagawa. They sometimes do offend others because of pagiging naive. Hindi nila alam yung nangyayari. There is the Madhyam Adhikari. They can discern what is the scriptural injunction. So, verse na rin sila sa scriptures. Well versed sila. They could convince others. They could preach. Firm na rin yung faith nila. They're transgressing from faith to prema, that stages, Shraddha to prema. At the same time, they could discern sino yung mga ready to receive this knowledge, sino yung mga hindi. They could discriminate, not in a bad way, but they could see. And there is the Uttama Adhikari, the first class Mahabhagavat, first class devotee. He sees Krishna everywhere. In living entities, in the deities, in the temple, everywhere. So he's a Mahabhagavat. He is firm. Actually, hindi lang siya firm faith. Hindi lang siya well-versed. Talagang very expert siya doon. And he can convince others regarding this faith because kahit minsan hindi nga sila magsalita eh. Nahahawa na yung mga tao from that vibration, that Krishna consciousness. Makasama lang sila. From a moment of association. Sadhu Sangha. So, isa Maga Bhagavat. And it is very significant here. He used to consult great sages and learned brahmanas. Meron siya mga advisors. Ito yung qualities ng isang king, isang great leader. You could only see a leader na sobrang great niya kapag nakita mo na talaga yung mga advisors niya. Sabi nga, the qualities of a great leader nakadepend sa great advisors niya. And in this verse, it was mentioned, he is getting instructions from the best wise-born brahmanas, mga sadhu, saintly persons. Best, sino yung mga nakapaligid sa kanya. Gano'n ka-importante yon. And Srila Prabhupada describe here kung sino yung mga description ng mga great sages na yon. These great sages or brahmanas, nasa first order sila, ayun nga as brahmana, they did not accept salary. Hindi na trabaho yun na maging advisor ng mga kings and leaders. Because they're sadhus, they're saintly persons. They're renounced. But the kings, the leaders are maintaining them. Sabi nga, they're giving heaps of golds. Mga gems. Nag-donate sila ng mga cows. They're maintaining these brahmanas. For these brahmanas to do what they're supposed to do. Hindi sila mag-isip paano i-maintain yung buhay nila. Those there who are they advising, helping, and guiding, i-maintain sila. So that is the culture. In other places, the monks are being, nakikita nyo, may ibang culture like sa Buddhist. May mga begging alms sila. Even of course, in the Vaishnava monks, they're doing that. Because the people, the society are supporting them. These kings are not just giving yung mga opulence and resources sa mga brahmanas in the begging pot, heaps of golds. But of course, yung mga sages naman na to, hindi nila ini-enjoy yun. They're also giving it as charity. And they're using that to spread Krishna consciousness, doing the sacrifices. They did not accept salary, nor had they any necessity for such salary. So wala silang hindi nila necessity yun. The state would get the best advice without expenditure. They were themselves Samadarshi, equal to everyone, both man and animal. So this is very important. So if you want to see scriptures for those who are um, trying to protect animals, the animal rights, wala kang makikitang basta-basta scriptures that would uh, emphasize on this. That the leaders are being advised by their brahmana, sages, saintly person ng mga advisors to be equal, hindi lang sa mga tao, pati sa mga animals. They would not advise the kings to give they would not give advice the king to give protection to man only, but they will instruct them na protektahan yung mga animals din. Hindi baliktad. Ngayon kasi, protect the humans. But also create a lot of slaughterhouses. Animal agricultures. Okay lang yun. So, hindi ganun dati. Ngayon, hindi na fair. Yan. They would not advise the king to protect and give protection sa man and instruct him to kill the poor animals. No, hindi ganun sila. So, ni Prabhupada dito sila yung mga full representative kung ganun yung mga ina-advise nila. So, they know how to perfectly, yung mga advisors na to, they know how to perfectly protect and be equal sa animals and humans. Kaya, ayun yung ina-advise nila sa kings and ayun yung sinusunod ng kings. That's the real essence. And hindi rin nila just concern para do sa mga hedonistic lifestyle ng mga tao, eat, sleep, and be merry. The main goal, sila yung mga Mahabhagavat first class, is to guide all the society in their spiritual path. For all the souls to go back to Krishna. Ayun yung role ng leader. Not just to maintain yung material necessity nila, but also spiritual necessity. So that, kung paano tinitignan ng king yung welfare ng mga tao. So, it was mentioned here, the state in the days of Maharaj Yudhisthira or Maharaj Pariksit was the welfare state in real sense, of terms of no one was unhappy. Walang hindi masaya. Be man or animal. So, Maharaj Yudhisthira was an ideal king sa world na to because walang unhappy na tao sa animals. Text number 2. King Pariksit married King Pariksit married the daughter of King Uttara and begot 4 sons headed by Maharaj Janamejai. So si Janamejai, yung anak niya na panganay, as we discussed before, si Yudhisthira, apo niya si Pariksit Maharaj. Tapos si Pariksit Maharaj, anak niya si Janamejai. Si Pariksit Maharaj was cursed to die in 7 days, to be beaten by a serpent. Ang pangalan ng serpent na yun is si Takshaka. Si Janamejai, yung anak ni Yudhisthira Maharaj, ay ni Pariksit Maharaj, sobrang gusto niyang ipaghaganti and yung galit niya sa mga serpent kasi binight nga yung tatay niya. He was even enthroned afterwards na maging emperor nung si Pariksit Maharaj ginagawa na yung nakikinig na siya for the Srimad Bhagavatam. So yung ginawa ni Janamejai, gumawa siya ng ceremony, fire sacrifice. Tapos the Brahmanas were invoking mantras and all the snakes are going there. Wala ko may picture dito na. Inuubos niya yung lahi ng mga snakes. Pakita natin yung picture na yun. Supposedly, wala dito. I'll show you sa internet. So, habang nare-receive ni Janamejai habang ginagawa niya yung fire sacrifice, yung mga snakes pumupunta doon. And nauubos yung mga snakes sa buong creation. Tapos, just for, ito. I'll show you. Actually, he was stopped. Pinatigil siya kasi nauubos nga niya yung mga creation ng mga snakes. Yan. So, lahat ng snakes pumupunta lang sa sacrifice na yan. Malaking sacrifice na yan. So, habang nangyari yung sacrifice na andun din sila Vyasa Dave. Si Vyasa Dave, if you remember, siya yung tatay ni Sukadev Goswami. Siya yung nag-compile na to. So, andun siya. And he told the story ng Battle of Kurukshetra, the Bhagavad Gita, kay Janamejai. And kunyanto rin niya yung Mahabharat. Then after the sacrifice, yung pinigil na siya, tapos na yan. He heard these stories and these scriptures from Vyasadeva himself. Tapos si uh, Janamejai, because of his longing sa father niya, he wished to see King Pariksit. Yes, pinakita ni Vyasadeva sa kanya yon by his mystic power. Tapos ginawa ni Janamejai, he worshipped King Pariksit sa si Vyasadeva. Hindi na buhay uli si Pariksit as tuloy-tuloy na. Pero pinakita ka sa kanya in vision. Text number 3. Maharaj Pariksit, after having selected Kripacharya for guidance as his spiritual master, performed 3 horse sacrifices on the banks of the Ganges. These were executed with sufficient rewards for the attendants, and these sacrifices, even the common man could see the demigods. Generally, the demigods are not seen by ordinary men. Yung mga great personalities lang nakakita sa kanila. But because of Maharaj Pariksit's Shakti, his purity, and napiplease niya yung mga demigods in that kind of fire sacrifices, yung mga demigods na to, actually, bumababa sila. Sasabi ni Prabhupada dito, meron silang mga interplanetary travel. Yung mga mahilig sa mga aliens. Yes, bumababa yung mga demigods para sa mga sacrifices na to. They are being invited. Kasi the sacrifices, one is offering and papunta kay Krishna and sa mga demigods. Through that fire. Actually, tang ni Lord Vishnu yon, yung fire na yun, and they're offering grains, ghee, fruits. Pero this time, yung ginagawa nila is si demigods, sila mismo yung pumupunta mismo dun sa fire sacrifice na yon. Invited sila doon. Tapos habang nangyayari, makita mo yung mga celestial na mga chariots nila bumababa. The chariot of the gods. So, habang nangyayari yon, yung mga common man, because of that power ni Pariksit Maharaj, could also see yung mga demigods. So, during this time, they could easily go down. Of course, ngayon, buwaba na may mga demigods. Only thing is, we don't see them. So, hindi lang to yung parang corning spaceship lang na bilog. Hindi ganun yung mga UFO lang. They're very opulent. Yung mga vimana nila, yung mga spaceship nila, made out of flowers, yung Pushpaka Vimana, kay Lord Brahma, swan, kay Lord Indra, a great elephant with 4 tusks, si Airavata, iba si Krishna nga, si Garuda, big bird. So yes, the citizens were very much satisfied. Sobrang happy ng mga citizens. And because of this, sabi nga ni Prabhupada, satisfied citizens will never organize agitation against the king. And thus, there was no need in changing the monarchical state. Hindi sila yung mga nag-rally. Hindi sila yung mga nag-impeach. Kasi satisfied sila. both physically, materially, and spiritually. Ngayon, what we have are in our society, in mga citizens, bigyan mo or hindi, magreklamo. Ganun naman, di ba? May gawin ka o wala, may masasabi sa'yo. In a larger scale, don't have saintly kings, we don't have saintly citizens. Both are degraded. That is Kali Yuga. That is actually the title of the chapter natin. How King Pariksit received Kali Yuga. Both the kings and the citizens are degraded. So, yung mga tao ngayon, they always want to change yung rules, yung law, and all. Dati hindi mo kailangan i-change yun kasi yung law nila is the scriptures. Hindi nila kailangan baguhin. Yung law na yon galing kay Krishna. Which is, yung mga traces ng scriptures and law naman sa scriptures is, ayun yung ginagamit ngayon. Di ba nakikita nyo halos pare-pareho sa iba't ibang bansa? It is coming from the scriptures. Then of course, it was being edited, binabago na ng binabago. Mag-iiba yung state, magiging monarchical, magiging democratic, di ba? So binabago nila. Nagiging ano yun, I forgot ko ano yung sa China or sa Russia dati. So iba-ibang state. Even for a king like Maharaj Pariksit, there was no need. Sorry. Even for a king like Maharaj Pariksit, there was need of a spiritual master for guidance. So, inaccept niya si Kripacharya. A great personality, a pure devotee, accepted a spiritual master. Si Lord Chaitanya accepted a spiritual master. Si Srila Prabhupada may spiritual master siya. And even si Krishna and Balaram, meron silang spiritual master. There is an instruction for people to also accept a spiritual master because they are the guide. We're just having a journey in darkness. Hindi natin alam yung nangyayari. Diba? But the spiritual master have a torchlight para i-guide tayo. Just like in the darkness, kapag naglagay ka ng torchlight, magkakaliwanag, di ba? That is the torchlight of knowledge. And yung torchlight na yon, ang meron nun yung spiritual master. Because of him, we are being guided. Bakit tayo nag-aaral nito? Because it was being passed down sa mga teachers and mga spiritual master. Kaya umaabot sa generation na to. Kaya naiintindihan natin kahit paano. So si Maharaj Pariksit, meron siyang guidance, meron siyang spiritual master. Without such guidance, one cannot make progress in spiritual life. The spiritual master must be bona fide, hindi yung mga pseudo-gurus lang na nagiging viral lang sa internet. Tapos makita mo wala silang guru. No, kailangan may guru din sila. May bona fide line sila ng guru and line, guru and disciple line. Or tinatawag yung parampara. And one who wants to have self-realization must approach and take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master to achieve real success. Because without having taken shelter in that line, we are not guided kung ano na lang gagawin natin whimsically. Which is, ayun yung ginagawa ng tao. Kanya-kanyang pinafollow na lifestyle, doing this practice, talon-talon, being materially advanced sa material ng life nila, pero still, no direction. Text number 4. Once, when Maharaj Pariksit was on his way to conquer the world, he saw the master of Kali Yuga, who was lower than a Sudra, disguised as a king, and hurting the legs of a cow and a bull. The king at once caught hold of him to deal sufficient sufficient punishment. So si Maharaj Pariksit, he's conquering. Siya may emperor, pero tatawag dito, roam around siya sa world to see kung ano nangyayari sa earth. Hindi siya nagko-conquer lang for their ulterior motive ng mga ang term ni Srila Prabhupada dito, self-aggrandizement. So, hindi ganun yung pag-conquer nila. Hindi ganun yung purpose. Titignan nila kung paano nila ni-rule yung earth. And kung yung mga citizens are pleased. Pero in that, um, ginagawa ni Maharaj Pariksit, nakita niya yung isang king of Kali Yuga. The master, sorry, di siya king. Master of Kali Yuga dressed as a king. May picture dito nun. And he is hurting. Ito. So he is hurting yung bull. And that bull is Dharma, religiosity. Yung bull na to may 4 legs siya. That is the 4 pillars of religion. Cleanliness, merciful, pagiging merciful, pagiging, how do you call this? Truthful, and yung austerity. These 4. Pero nakita niya na naputol na yung paa nung tatlong paa nung bull na yon ni Dharma. Ang titira na lang yung truthfulness. So, inarrest ni Yudhishthira Maharaj tong si Kali. Kali personified. And what happened was, kailangan niya parusahan. Actually, sa next text, tinatanong ng mga sages, bakit kailangan na pa sa parusahan? Ba't hindi lang niya pinatay? So this one, at once he arrested and punished him. The king cannot tolerate insults to the most important animal, the cow. So during that time, meron talagang animal protection. The king are heading that. Hindi mo pwedeng i-abuse yung mga ibang tao, lalo-lalo na yung mga animal. Lalong-lalo na yung mga cows and bulls. They are very sacred. Yung age ng Kali, actually, ibig sabihin niya, yung Kali Yuga, ibig sabihin, age of quarrel and hypocrisy and mismanagement. And this, yung Sudra na to, Black Sudra na to, lower class yun ng mga orders sa buhay. Sudra, tapos lower than Sudra pa, are pretending to be kings. That is the sign ng Kali Yuga. Yung mga mismanagement na nangyayari sa mga quarrels sa mundo natin is because yung mga leaders are just pretending to be leaders. They're not qualified. The root cause of all mismanagement and quarrel is that worthless men with modes of lower class men who have no higher ambition in life come to helm of the state management. Ano ba yung reason nila bakit sila pumatakbo ng politics? Money. May business sila. Power and fame. Pero hindi sila guided. Unang-una, hindi sila guided ng mga sainted persons. They're not following the scriptures. They're just following their own mind and their ulterior motives. So, what do you expect? Mismanagement, quarrels, even petty things. So, ayun yung nangyayari sa state. Ayun yung nangyayari sa mundo ngayon. That's why it's very important for those leaders, again, Sri Prabhupada in the introduction of Srimad Bhagavatam, for those leaders to learn this, to relearn yung mga nangyayari dito. Because in the age of Kali, ito yung reality. Sad but true. Si Maharaj Pariksit punish yung nagpapanggap na king na to. Alam niyo yung root cause. This is the root cause of Kali Yuga. The age of quarrel and hypocrisy. So he wanted this to be stopped. And sad but true, ganun yung nangyayari sa society natin. Those who are put into position are voted because of democracy, voted by people na binayaran. Not seeing the future because they also don't know yung nature, yung totoong scriptures, kung ano yung kaya gawin ng king and sino ba yung qualified. Now, you could be in position kasi maganda yung magaling yung PR ng mga leader. Kaya sa binoto, aside from binili, binoto and all. So that's why During this time, it is monarchical, at the same time, with great advisors, mga saintly person. So, hindi siya pareho lang na monarchy din in this lifetime. Dati yung mga monarch noon is guided by saintly persons. So, they pass down yung leadership, yung pagiging emperor sa mga next qualified. Yung mga qualified, hindi by ano lang hindi by birth. May qualification sa mga next emperors, maging next emperor. Just like Duryodhan, nasa line naman siya ng mga emperor, pero hindi siya qualified. Ang qualified is si King Yudhishthir, kaya sila nagkaroon ng war. So, ayun yung mga qualities ng mga leaders. So, it is very important to know, diba, kung ano yung mga nangyayari. At the same time, yung mga citizens, we should not just rely sa mga leaders. Kaya ganito yung nangyayari sa mundo dahil sa... No, also, the citizens are degraded. Look at the choices that we choose, yung mga lifestyle natin. So, both are degraded. Kaya, the greatest revolution is the spiritual revolution. You start with yourself. You rise above your consciousness, not just by pseudo meditation na nakita sa internet, no? It should be guided by the spiritual master, by the scriptures in a saintly person. So these citizens should do that, rising the consciousness. And of course, kailangan mahawaan din yung mga leaders with that rise of consciousness, because everyone is in this age of Kali. Maya is very strong. The illusion is very strong everywhere. If you stop doing your sadhana, the Srimad Bhagavatam study, the chanting, easily kakainin ka ulit ni Maya. The old habits die hard. Yung mga old habits natin babalik. Automatic. We've been doing this for lifetimes and lifetimes. Now we're trying to remove that bad habit. Yung mga old habits. We're trying to bring back yung totoong nature natin, which is Krishna conscious. So yes, these are descriptions of great leaders, great devotees, and great students. Sabi nga, hindi ka magiging great leader kung hindi ka great follower. Si Pariksit Maharaj accepted a great spiritual master, si Kripacharya, and yung mga nag-advise sa rin sa kanya, sila Maharaj Pariksit, mga mentors niya rin. And he's ruling according sa scriptures, not whimsically. So we will learn continuously sa chapter na to, paano tinanggap yung Kali Yuga. And malalaman pa natin yung mga glimpse ng Kali Yuga. Kanina, in-explain natin yung onti sa earth. Tapos yung ano meron sa heaven, and ano meron sa hell. No, very putrid, very... And diniscuss natin ngayon yung nangyayari sa Kali Yuga. In the future, we will discuss further ano meron sa Kali Yuga na to. Ano yung nature ng mga tao in this Kali Yuga. Bakit hindi mo kailangan magulat sa mga napapanood mo. Sa mga nakikita natin. Because that's the nature of Kali Yuga. The only way in the holy shelter is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is the Yuga Dharma. In this Kali Yuga, this is the Dharma, the way of self-realization. The chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We should take shelter in Krishna's name. Because si Krishna invested all his energies sa holy name niya. Sa Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, Krishna and his name are not different. So, if you're chanting, you're together with Krishna. Your ride or die is your japamala. Through good times and bad times, pag hawak mo yung japamala mo, you're together with Krishna. And in years, my experience, of course, si Mother Moksha has been chanting for decades. Di pa tayo buhay nagka-chant na si Mother Moksha. Yes, he could attest na ride or die. Sadhana is there. And Krishna is there in his soul. Tama po ba, Mother Moksha? So thank you very much, my dear Prabhus and dear Matajis. Adam, Tina, Divai, Naimi, Mother Moksha, Sir J, Rolly, McCoy, Oliver, Paolo, Rodel, RJ, Jonah, Milka, Riza, and those who are watching sa ating Facebook live. Yan, nandun si Ron. Grantarat Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Yudhishthir Maharaj, Pariksit Maharaj Ki Jai. Yuga Dharma Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Gaura Premanande. All glories to you, assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. See you everyone. Hare Krishna. Maraming salamat. Please be safe. Finish your rounds and be Krishna conscious. Thank you. Thank you.